Facebook Marketplace and dealership floors are full of overpriced hype machines, but that's not where smart riders are looking. The real gems are hiding in plain sight. These Japanese bikes offer big performance, proven durability, and serious value. If you want more bike for less money, this countdown is your shortcut. Number 7. Yamaha TDM 850. Long before the term adventure bike filled showroom floors, one underrated machine quietly carved its own lane. This was a motorcycle that didn't try to fit into any existing category. It blended the stance of a touring bike, the comfort of a commuter, and the rugged attitude of a dual sport into something that felt completely new, but also slightly confusing to riders of its era. That confusion turned out to be a blessing for those looking to save money. While other bikes from the 1990s chased chrome or fairing-heavy sport bike aesthetics, this Yamaha went another way, prioritizing torque control and rider ergonomics over flash. At the heart of this machine is an 849 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine. It puts out approximately 80 horsepower and delivers around 60 pound-feet of torque that may not seem impressive compared to modern multi-cylinder bikes, but it is more than enough to carry a rider, gear, and a passenger across back roads, highways, and even gravel stretches without breaking a sweat. Its power band is wide, forgiving, and built for the real world, not the racetrack. Riders consistently praise it for its smooth delivery and dependable pull through the mid-range, making it a joy on winding country roads and steep mountain climbs alike. In terms of overall size and weight, the TDM comes in at roughly 490 pounds wet. That makes it light enough for agile city riding and comfortable lane filtering, but just heavy enough to feel stable and planted at higher cruising speeds. The suspension features conventional long-travel forks in the front and a rear monoshock tuned to soak up rough patches and gravel sections without the jarring feedback you'd expect from a street bike. It's not a dirt bike, but it gives you more confidence on unpaved roads than most touring machines ever could. The front end is equipped with dual disc brakes, offering strong and progressive stopping power, while the rear utilizes a single disc setup that does the job without fuss. From a comfort standpoint, it checks every box. The seat is wide and well padded, the handlebars are positioned for an upright riding stance, and the fairing provides decent wind protection without overwhelming the design. It was clearly engineered with long-distance riders in mind. With ergonomics that reduce fatigue and a riding triangle that suits riders of all sizes, the TDM stands out as one of the most comfortable middleweight tourers of its time. The fuel tank holds over 4 gallons, giving it solid range for touring without constant fuel stops. Now let's talk price. On the used market, you can still find solid condition Yamaha TDM 850s for anywhere between $2,500 and $3,000, depending on mileage, region, and condition. That is shockingly low for a motorcycle with this level of engineering, comfort, and long-haul reliability. These bikes are often found in well-maintained condition because the owners who appreciated them knew exactly what they had and took care of them accordingly. The TDM 850 might not have fit in when it first rolled onto the scene, but that's exactly what makes it so valuable today. It does everything well without demanding attention, and that's the kind of motorcycle that earns quiet loyalty from experienced riders. It was too strange for its time, but the next bike was simply too good to notice. We've dug through the history of hidden gems in the motorcycle world. What do you think about these undervalued bikes? Drop a like, comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more research-driven content. Number 6. Honda CB500T. There was a time when riders wanted the style of a British roadster without the hassle of oil leaks, electrical gremlins, and endless tuning. That's exactly where this machine found its calling. Designed to deliver vintage charm with none of the drama, this bike offered a level of mechanical simplicity that made it both approachable and endlessly customizable. Today, it stands out not because it tries to make a statement, but because it never needed to. It is a machine that rewards calm riders, hands-on tinkerers, and anyone looking for a touch of retro flair without breaking the bank. Powering this underappreciated classic is a 500 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine that produces around 34 horsepower and 29 pound-feet of torque. That may not sound like much in modern terms, but for city cruising, backroad loops, and relaxed weekend rides, it is more than enough. This is a slow-burning kind of motorcycle. It is not going to win stoplight races or dominate high-speed runs, but it delivers an authentic ride that is smooth, steady, and confidence-inspiring, especially for newer riders or returning veterans who just want something honest. The specs on this machine are refreshingly simple. It weighs in at approximately 420 pounds wet, making it light enough to maneuver through traffic and parking lots with ease, yet substantial enough to feel stable on the open road. Braking is handled by a single disc at the front and a drum brake at the rear. The setup is basic but effective, offering dependable stopping power with a natural lever feel. Suspension duties are carried out by telescopic front forks and twin shock absorbers at the rear, both tuned more for comfort than aggressive performance. Together, the hardware gives it a soft and forgiving ride, especially on rougher pavement. The riding position is exactly what you would expect from a classic standard. The seat is long and flat, the foot pegs are in a neutral position, and the handlebars offer just enough rise to keep your back upright without straining your wrists. This makes the bike surprisingly comfortable for extended rides, whether you are hitting the highway or simply rolling through your neighborhood. The ergonomics also make it a favorite among custom builders. Another major reason for its growing popularity among enthusiasts is the ease of maintenance. There are no complex electronics, no computer diagnostics, and no fancy technology to get in the way. It is a fully analog motorcycle, featuring a simple carbureted fuel system, basic wiring, and easy access to all the major mechanical components. That means valve adjustments, oil changes, and tuning can all be done at home with standard tools and a little patience. And because it shares many components with other Honda models of the era, parts availability is still solid in most areas. On the used market, this bike remains one of the most budget-friendly options for riders who want to own a piece of motorcycle history without paying vintage collector prices. Depending on condition and originality, you can usually find one priced between $1,500 and $2,800. Clean examples with matching numbers and original paint may fetch a bit more, especially if they have been well cared for and not heavily modified. Old school cool never goes out of style, but the next bike adds real punch to the picture. Looking for gear that respects the ride? Our trusted picks are linked below, tested, timeless, and ready. Number 5. Suzuki Bandit 1200. If you ever wanted a big bore street bike that delivers raw torque without the hassle of race bike maintenance, this is the one. The Bandit took everything riders loved about the old superbikes and made it usable, practical, and rugged enough for everyday roads. With its upright seating, simple construction, and burly presence, the Bandit was never flashy, but that's exactly what made it so effective. Riders who know it, love it. Riders who don't, miss out. Powering this street bruiser is an 1157 cubic centimeter inline four-cylinder engine, originally derived from the GSX-R platform but retuned for low-end grunt and everyday usability. This engine produces up to 115 horsepower and cranks out a healthy 78 pound-feet of torque. It may not have the top-end scream of a full-blown sport bike, but it delivers exactly what you need in the mid-range: strong, responsive acceleration without needing to wring it out. That makes it ideal for city rides, back-road blasts, or even touring with luggage on the back. From a mechanical standpoint, the Bandit is rock solid. It comes equipped with conventional telescopic front forks and a rear monoshock suspension, offering a comfortable and composed ride across a variety of road conditions. Twin disc brakes at the front and a single disc at the rear give it more than enough stopping power, even under heavy use. Tipping the scales at approximately 540 pounds wet, it's heavy enough to feel planted at speed but still manageable in parking lots or slow traffic. Add in the wide handlebars, supportive seat, and mid-mounted pegs, and you get a natural upright riding position that balances comfort with control. Perfect for both short rides and long stretches on the open road. The styling of the Bandit is pure muscle. No fairings, no excess plastics, just a round headlight, analog gauges, and exposed mechanical parts that beg to be worked on. This simplicity is what makes it so appealing to riders who like to tinker. Valve adjustments, chain tensioning, oil changes, everything is accessible and there's no complicated technology to get in the way. That's a rare trait in today's world of over-designed machines. What also sets the Bandit apart is its deep aftermarket. From handlebars to windscreens to exhaust systems, you'll find no shortage of bolt-on parts for performance upgrades or visual flair. Whether you want to build a custom Street Fighter or just improve the touring comfort, the platform supports it all. Many used units already come with upgrades like braided brake lines, upgraded suspension springs, or sport-tuned carburetors, which add real-world value without inflating the price. Speaking of value, that's where the Bandit really shines. Despite its big engine and solid performance, prices for well-maintained first-generation models usually range between $2,500 and $3,000. That's a serious bargain for a machine with this much muscle, comfort, and long-term reliability. If you're looking to get real street performance without overpaying for hype, this is one of the smartest buys on the used market right now. It's raw, loud, and brutally capable, but the next one is smoother than you'd ever expect. Number 4. Kawasaki Ninja 500R. When most riders think of entry-level motorcycles, they imagine something disposable. Light on power, light on character, and not something you would keep for long. That is exactly where this machine breaks the mold. The Ninja 500R became one of the most respected beginner-friendly motorcycles, not because of marketing hype or tech gimmicks, but because it simply worked, year after year, ride after ride. It is the kind of motorcycle that introduces new riders to the sport with confidence and still manages to stick around in garages long after they move up in skill. Underneath the modest fairings sits a 498 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine, delivering a very respectable 50 horsepower and 32 pound-feet of torque. That might not sound outrageous on paper, but it is the delivery that matters. The engine offers smooth, linear acceleration, and the mid-range pull is strong enough to make freeway speeds feel easy while still being approachable for newer riders. The 6-speed transmission is geared to provide a balance between city agility and highway stability, and unlike many beginner-focused motorcycles, it never feels like it runs out of breath. Weighing in at just over 400 pounds wet, this machine is exceptionally flickable in the corners and well-behaved in traffic. Its size gives you confidence whether you are riding through a congested city or leaning into mountain switchbacks. The braking system is simple but effective, with a single front disc and a single rear disc providing progressive stopping power. Suspension is handled by conventional telescopic forks in the front and a monoshock in the rear. While not built for track-level performance, the setup offers enough comfort for everyday use and enough responsiveness to encourage spirited riding when the roads open up. The ergonomics of the Ninja 500R strike a smart balance between sport and comfort. With slightly leaned forward handlebars, mid-mounted foot pegs, and a seat height that accommodates a wide range of riders, it delivers a riding position that feels confident without being cramped. You can ride it all day without feeling sore, and that is part of its charm. It is not trying to be a race replica. It is trying to be a real motorcycle for real riders. This model also earns major points for reliability. The engine is known to last well past 50,000 miles with only basic maintenance, and because the bike was produced in large numbers for many years, parts are still easy to find. That includes everything from levers and lights to full exhaust systems and upgraded suspension components. It is a bike you can customize, maintain, and keep running without relying on rare components or expensive service shops. The design may not turn heads like some of its modern successors, but it has aged gracefully. The classic full fairing, analog gauges, and compact frame give it a no-nonsense look that still holds up today. More importantly, that visual simplicity makes it easier to live with. There is no complicated electronic interface, no fragile bodywork, and no features that get in the way of just riding. On the used market, this machine is still one of the best bargains available. Solid examples often sell for less than $2,000, making it an incredibly affordable way to get into motorcycling or to return after a long break. It is the underdog champion of entry-level bikes, but what comes next blends simplicity with real street strength. Number 3. Yamaha XJR 1200. There was a time when muscle bikes ruled the streets, not with electronic gadgets or lightweight frames, but with brute force and undeniable presence. This machine carries that spirit forward with no apologies. It is built for those who want to feel the road, command attention, and enjoy raw power with a classic silhouette. While other motorcycles chase trends in fairings and plastic bodywork, this one stayed true to the iron and steel roots that defined an era. At the core of this street bruiser is an 1188 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline-4 engine. It produces up to 100 horsepower and delivers approximately 78 pound-feet of torque, giving it the kind of mid-range muscle that makes every throttle twist feel like a punch. The engine is tuned for immediate response, especially in urban riding conditions and fast roll-ons. Whether you're pulling out of corners or passing on the highway, it never hesitates. This is not a high-revving, track-optimized machine. It is a torque-loaded, everyday powerhouse that thrives on real-world performance. In terms of weight, it tips the scales at around 570 pounds wet. That gives it a planted, confident stance on the road without making it overly cumbersome in tighter turns. For braking, the front end is equipped with dual disc brakes that offer strong stopping power and excellent lever feedback, while the rear features a single disc that balances the braking load nicely. The suspension setup includes conventional telescopic front forks and dual rear shocks, both tuned for a balance of comfort and stability. While it won't float over potholes like a luxury tourer, it handles rough pavement with composure and always feels connected to the road. The ergonomics are purpose-built for control without sacrificing comfort. A wide, flat seat pairs with mid-mounted pegs and a straight handlebar for an upright riding position that supports longer rides. You can cruise for hours without contorting your knees or wrists. It is a bike made for distance and for quick blasts across town. The seating is generous, and the controls are analog and easy to use, reminding riders of a time when everything was mechanical and intuitive. Visually, the bike stands out without trying too hard. The engine is exposed in all its mechanical glory, framed by a steel tubular chassis and accented with polished aluminum. The round headlamp, chrome side covers, and oversized fuel tank give it a timeless, almost custom-built look right off the factory floor. In fact, many riders mistake it for a heavily modified vintage machine, when in reality it is just Yamaha's commitment to muscle bike tradition done right. The lack of excessive fairings keeps it looking lean while still retaining that heavy, old-school authority. Another major plus is the ease of ownership. The air-cooled engine means fewer parts to fail and easier maintenance, especially for riders who prefer working in their own garage. Oil changes, chain adjustments, and valve checks are all straightforward. Aftermarket support is also excellent, with options for handlebars, exhaust systems, and cosmetic upgrades readily available. Despite all this, the XJR 1200 was never mass-marketed in the United States the way other models were. That means they're relatively rare on this side of the ocean and often overlooked. On the used market, you can still find clean examples in the range of $3,000 to $4,000. It punches hard and rides smooth, but the next one does it all quietly. Number 2. Honda CTX 700. For riders who want a calm, reliable machine that blends everyday usability with cruiser-style comfort, this motorcycle has quietly become one of the best-kept secrets in the used market. It was never marketed as a status symbol or a high-performance monster, but for those who value long-haul comfort, smooth handling, and low-cost ownership, it absolutely delivers. It might not look flashy, but once you sit on it, start the engine, and ease into a long cruise, it becomes immediately clear why this bike deserves a second look. The power plant is a 670 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine that produces approximately 48 horsepower and delivers 44 pound-feet of torque. What makes this motor stand out is its flat torque curve. Instead of a high-strung delivery, it offers steady, linear pull from the very bottom of the rev range, making it ideal for relaxed urban cruising or rolling effortlessly down back roads. Whether you're commuting or out for a weekend ride, the engine responds gently but confidently, with enough muscle to carry a passenger or light luggage without feeling strained. This machine features a wet weight of around 475 pounds, which gives it a stable yet agile feel. It rides low to the ground with a seat height just under 28 inches, making it extremely friendly to shorter riders or anyone who prefers that feet-flat confidence at stoplights. The suspension setup includes conventional front forks and a rear monoshock, tuned for comfort rather than aggression. The ride quality is soft, forgiving, and composed, even over rough or uneven pavement. Braking is handled by a single front disc with a twin-piston caliper and a rear disc in the back. While not sport bike sharp, the stopping performance is progressive and controlled, perfect for its intended role as a commuter and light tourer. The ergonomics are where the real cruiser DNA shines. With forward-mounted foot pegs, wide handlebars, and a deep supportive seat, the CTX encourages a laid-back posture that makes longer rides feel effortless. Riders coming from traditional cruisers will feel at home instantly, while newer riders will appreciate how unintimidating and well-balanced the chassis feels at all speeds. Another key feature is the optional dual-clutch transmission, available on some models. This system allows for fully automatic shifting or semi-manual control via handlebar triggers, removing the learning curve of clutch operation while preserving direct control. It is a game-changer for riders with physical limitations or those who want the simplicity of twist-and-go riding without losing the highway capabilities of a full-sized motorcycle. In terms of design, the bike has a futuristic, somewhat polarizing silhouette. Its sloped body panels and integrated fairings give it a modern look, but that same styling likely contributed to its quiet reception when it launched. Today, however, that muted appeal works in your favor, keeping resale prices low and availability high. It is also one of the few modern cruisers that manages to stay well under the radar while still delivering solid road presence. On the used market, prices typically range from $3,000 to $4,500, depending on condition, mileage, and whether it includes the dual clutch option. Many low-mileage examples are still available at the lower end of that range, making it one of the best value buys for riders who prioritize comfort, reliability, and ease of use over high-revving performance or chrome-heavy flash. It's the ultimate chill ride, but our number one bike is a secret superbike that almost no one remembers. Are you surprised by these deals on great bikes? Comment below with your thoughts. Hit like if you found it helpful and subscribe for more countdowns and expert picks. Number 1. Honda CB900F. There is a motorcycle that earned legendary status across Europe yet remained nearly invisible in American garages. While the motorcycle boom of the 1980s introduced dozens of Japanese superbikes to the world, few carried the raw balance and unmistakable character of this machine. It never needed hype, it never needed excessive styling, it just delivered every single time. Designed during an era when performance meant everything, it became a hidden favorite among riders who valued control, torque, and real-world power over flashy marketing. The most astonishing part? Most riders in the United States have still never heard of it, making it one of the best-kept secrets on the used market today. At the heart of this machine is a 900 cubic centimeter air-cooled inline-4 engine with double overhead camshafts. It delivers between 95 and 100 horsepower, along with a healthy 57 pound-feet of torque. That power band is broad and accessible, giving you strong acceleration in every gear without needing to wind it to the moon. Whether cruising in the city or pulling hard on the highway, the response is instant and satisfying. That's what makes this platform so timeless. It performs where it matters without unnecessary complexity. Backed by Honda's engineering standards from the golden age of Japanese superbikes, the engine remains one of the most durable ever produced in its class. This motorcycle tips the scale at just over 500 pounds wet, giving it a planted, muscular feel without becoming cumbersome. Its braking setup features dual front disc brakes and a single rear disc, offering consistent stopping power and excellent lever feedback. Suspension is handled by conventional telescopic front forks and twin shocks in the rear, both tuned for a smooth and balanced ride. While not built for track day performance, this setup gives riders all-day comfort on winding roads or longer touring rides. The overall design prioritizes stability and handling over aggressive geometry, and that is exactly why it has aged so well. Even by modern standards, it feels connected to the road and responsive to every input. Visually, it brings everything you would expect from an early 80s superbike: long, flat seat, mid-mounted pegs, round headlight, and analog gauges. The handlebars strike a perfect balance between sporty and relaxed, giving riders an upright posture without sacrificing road feel. Its tank design is clean and muscular, and the engine cases are exposed just enough to give it that classic mechanical charm. There are no ride modes, no traction control, no electronic suspension, just the pure analog thrill of riding. For those who appreciate simplicity and mechanical honesty, there are few bikes that offer a more rewarding experience. It is the kind of machine you can wrench on, tune to your preference, and ride every weekend without worry. Because it never became a mainstream success in the United States, prices on the used market have stayed surprisingly low. Well-maintained examples typically sell for between $2,500 and $4,000, depending on condition and originality. Many are still in excellent running shape, and parts remain available thanks to Honda's long-running engine platforms and international parts supply. As more collectors begin to appreciate its historical significance and everyday usability, this price window may not last long. Thanks for watching, and remember, finding value in the bike market doesn't have to mean settling for less. If you learned something new today, drop a like, leave a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe.